All right, I'm at the Balanced Rock in Colorado Springs, Colorado, to bring you this short training video for Police Dynamics Media. You know, we were doing a webinar here a few months ago for Police Dynamics, and I told a little story talking about how to recognize people for character instead of achievement and how important that principle is. And one of the participants in the webinar emailed me afterwards and said, boy, wouldn't it be great if we had that story in a recorded version. I said, okay, that's what I'll do. Next time I do one of these videos, we'll record that story. And the story was this. I was doing a radio call-in show when I was still sheriff, and I was actually the fill-in host for the radio show. So people would call in and ask questions, and I was filling in for the guy that was on vacation. And I was intimidated by this. Being a guest on a radio talk show is one thing. Being the host is something else altogether. You got to fill up a lot of airtime. So I told my concerns to the normal host, and he said, don't worry, just talk about your character stuff. People will love that. So I was talking about the principle of recognizing someone for character rather than the achievement itself. You recognize them for the character that produced the achievement. And I got this call in from this father, and he was so excited. He said, Sheriff Nash, you have solved a major problem for me. I've got these two kids, a boy and a girl. I told them if they made the honor roll this year, I'd give them both $50. Well, my son made it, but my daughter missed it by just a couple of points. I know she worked her butt off to get there, but I didn't want to lower my standards. But I was trying to figure out, how do I recognize her for her achievement when she didn't quite make the standard, and you solved my problem for me. I needed to recognize her for her character. I can't wait to get home to do that. And then he told me that he was sitting out in front of the school while he was on the phone with me, and his son, who made the honor roll, is running up to his car, waving his report card in his hand. I said, really, your son's right there? He said, yeah. I said, can you put him on the air? And he said, yeah, I'd be glad to. His name's Chad. So as soon as I got Chad on the air, I tried to use my best radio talk show host voice, and I said, Chad, this is Sheriff Ray Nash, and you are on live talk radio. I don't think Chad was very impressed by that, but I began to ask Chad some questions. I said, Chad, I understand you made the honor roll. Let me ask you a couple of questions about that. In order to make the honor roll, do you have to pay very close attention in class to what your teacher says? He said, oh yeah, you have to pay close attention, because if you don't, you'll miss something. I said, well, let me ask you another question, Chad. Do you have to be very diligent in the way you complete your assignments and work extra hard to get these kinds of grades? And he said, oh yeah, not everybody get these kinds of grades. You really got to work hard to make the honor roll. Let me ask you another question, Chad. Do you have to be sure when you turn your assignments in that everything is completed, that you don't leave anything out? I think Chad's getting a little bit frustrated with me by now. And he says, well, yeah, if you leave something out, then they take off for that. And I said, one last question, Chad. When you turn your assignments in, do you have to be sure you turn them in on time? Now he's really getting frustrated. He's like, duh, if you turn it in late, they take off for that. Now, so Chad, let me tell you something. Me and your dad are both very proud that you made the honor roll. But let me tell you what we're most proud of. We're proud of the attentiveness that you showed in class, the diligence with which you completed your assignments, the thoroughness with which you completed them, and the punctuality that you showed by turning them in on time. I'll tell you something else, Chad. You continue to be attentive and diligent and thorough and punctual, and you're going to be successful in life no matter which direction your life takes you. This was a powerful lesson that I was able to share with the father of those two kids and the radio listening audience, and now I have a chance to share it with you. From Colorado Springs, Colorado, the Garden of the Gods, this is Sheriff Ray Nash with Police Dynamics Media.